What's up, everybody? It is fight day. Let me go ahead and do a sound check really quick before we proceed. All right. Yeah, you guys could hear me for sure. So, Canelo Plant, today is November 6th. And today is the day that we will see this fight happen. For undisputed. I remember when Canelo first announced, after he got out of the Golden Boy deal and he was his contract with his own guy restructured, but it gave him more freedom. And I remember this, right? Because I was here this whole time. There's a lot of guys that weren't here the whole time, right? But I remember like him saying, I want to be undisputed. I want to be undisputed at 168 pounds. It's the weight class I've decided to campaign at. He decided, I'm not going to stay at 175. He's not going to go back down to 160. He's going to campaign at 168 pounds. And the first opponent announced on his comeback was Callum Smith. I do remember a lot of people were saying, nah, he's not going to do that. Canelo's never been undisputed. Why would he go for undisputed now? What makes us think he's going to do that, right? That was, and I have the receipts. That was exactly what was being said. And then 2 months later, he fought Yildirim, and that confirmed it for a lot of people. Oh, you see, he ain't gonna fight nobody. He's gonna fight Yildirim. You see, this is the problem with boxing. And I remember saying, he just fought Callum Smith 2 months ago. And then 2 months later, he fought Billy Joe Saunders. And now he's about to fight Caleb Plant. This fight is about to go down tonight. Now people are changing the narrative and they're moving the goalpost. At first, when he was going to try to fight Plant and looked like the fight was going to happen at first, right? And it was being, wrongfully reported. It's pretty much done. Just waiting on small details, and it wasn't done. Oh, Canelo is ducking. This is a duck job. He's avoiding Caleb Plant. He doesn't want to fight Plant. Canelo's the reason the fight's not happening. It's all Canelo's fault, right? And then the fight was made. Then those people got as quiet as a church mouse. Got really quiet. And now they went back to the whole, he's cherry picking, Canelo ain't doing shit. Canelo, why didn't he do it at 160, but he's doing it at 168? And not to mention that Floyd Mayweather never became undisputed in any weight class. Manny Pacquiao never became undisputed in any weight class. Plenty of fighters never became undisputed in any weight class. Ever. Terrence Crawford didn't become undisputed at 135, but he did it at 140, right? But because Canelo didn't do it before, they don't want to give him credit for doing it now. This shit's insane. I don't know what's wrong with people. But I've noticed one pattern. Usually fight fans that don't like Canelo are just generally not happy. They're not really happy people, right? They're always mad. They're always raging. They're always like, you know what I mean? I almost want to hand them some blood pressure medicine while they're doing lives and shit. Angry at the world, angry at Canelo, right? Angry at Reynoso, angry at everybody who even thinks about joining Reynoso. Rumors came out that Virgil is going to join Reynoso. Dude, you need your blood pressure medicine? Like, chill the fuck out, right? What's going on over here? People are losing their minds and shit. Forget punching at air. They're punching their walls, putting holes in their walls and shit. Okay? They're probably going to destroy their fucking nice new television today and shit. Let me tell you something. After Canelo wins, Black Friday's going to have a shitload of TVs you're going to be selling. Motherfuckers going to be destroying their TVs when they see Canelo win and shit, okay? Nah, he didn't do it before. Why would he do it now? Like, need I remind you that many were saying he was ducking Plant. After Plant didn't do anything, by the way, and this dude unified the whole division, right? Canelo is the one to blame for everything. Okay, I see how this works. Nah, it's all Canelo's fault. Like that's all you hear. Like, he's about to become undisputed against Plant. Ah, he fought Yildirim. Like they're still bringing up Yildirim. This shit's insane. How are you still bringing up Yildirim? You're still bringing up Yildirim? Yildirim? You're still bringing him up? Jesus Christ. Plant's whole resume is filled with fighters that are not as good as Yildirim. Okay? Figgin' butts. Mike Lee. Old-ass Truax. Porky Medina. Get the fuck out of here. Now, I'll agree with one thing. Resume doesn't mean you're going to win any fight. Resume doesn't mean, like, it really doesn't matter. Once that bell rings, the resume can't, quote unquote, help you. I concede that. I know that. But before a fight, the only thing we have is a resume. The only thing we have to assess anything is a resume. Level of competition matters. Levels trumps styles. Any day of the week. Any day of the week. Do you understand me? It's not just because you have a certain style. Joe Schmo can box a certain style. Oh, styles make fire. No. Levels trump styles. Any day. You have to be at the same level for the style to matter. Or somewhere close. Plant's going to have to show me. That's what he's going to have to do. Plant's going to have to show me he belongs at this level. Plant's going to have to show me he belongs in the ring with Saul Canelo Alvarez. He is the IBF champion. He's a titleist. That's what Canelo fights. He fights champions. If he don't pan out, he don't pan out. But there's levels to this, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to have to prove to me he belongs at this level. He's going to have to prove it to me. But nothing I saw in the Truax fight, in the Fagenbutz fight, in any fight that makes me say, yeah, he belongs at this level. This is the fight where we either look back and say, yeah, that's where Caleb Plant graduated. That's where Caleb Plant showed he belonged at this level. Or it's going to be a fight we're going to look back, it's going to be another routine Canelo fight. Oh, Batista, you see how good he looks. Look at his footwork. It's so good. Like, okay, fine. The footwork looks good against a certain level of opponent. Against a certain level of opponent. I'm sure in Michael Jordan's heyday, I'll just say Michael Jackson, but in Michael Jordan's heyday, if he went over, to play against Joe Schmo in the basketball court, he would look amazing, right? He already looked amazing in the NBA. Imagine what he would look like against far less opposition. I'm sure if he took a dude off of the bench in the NBA, right, and had him go play with Joe Schmo, he would look like a beast. A dude off the bench. I'm sure he would look like a beast. But this is the next level. That's what this is. Oh, Batista! Batista, he looks so good. Look at the skills. He's got better skills. Like, I don't know what people mean by skills. Think of a game, the game of chess. I could sit somebody down that's never played chess before, and I could teach him how you can move a pawn. Look, you can move the pawn in the first move. You could jump 2 spaces or 1 space, up to you. After that, you can only move 1 space forward. The only way you capture is horizontally. That's how you capture with a pawn. That's the one and only way. And you could also capture sideways, by the way, in certain situations. But nonetheless, you get my drift. A knight, it moves in an L shape, and that knight is the only piece that could jump over other pieces. You have the bishop. The bishop always stays in the same color, and it always moves horizontally. You have the one in the dark square and the light square. The queen. Or first the queen can move any direction in many spaces. It cannot jump over any pieces, though. And that's also, they all capture that way. The king can move in any one space wherever it wants. You could capture 1 space wherever it wants. The point of the game is to put the king in checkmate. If the king is in check, he must move the king as he is in check. Checkmate is the equivalent of a knockout. Pretty much. All right? Pretty much. That's how you play chess. Okay? Not to mention the bishop, I believe, I don't know if I said rook, but the bishop's the one that moves horizontally. And the rook moves forward or sideways as many spaces as it wants, right? The queen is kind of a mix of both. So that is basically the gist of the game, but that's not knowing how to move the spaces, knowing how to move the pieces, knowing which direction to go, and knowing the rules of the game does not mean that you really know how to play chess. It doesn't mean that. Because you have strategy, which is a real thing. Calculation, making calculated decisions. Thinking 2, 3, really good chess players, 5, 6 steps ahead of your opponent. And while boxing is different, obviously, than chess in many ways, it's similar to chess in that way. So when people talk about skills, they're talking about how beautiful the jab looks. They're talking about how good he looks, against guys he's much more athletic than, where he can kind of, slip a punch and boom, counter them or something, right? He could pivot away from their offense. So that's what they're talking about. Oh, look, that hook. It looks so good. This style, the hook looks so good. Like, okay, it looks good, but so what? Saul Canelo Alvarez is boxing at a different level. See, this reminds me a lot. I remember when I was talking about Plant versus Terrence Crawford. Khan versus Terrence Crawford. And a lot of people here in the YTBC were making videos saying Khan is a better boxer than Crawford. The only reason Crawford's going to win is because Crawford has a better chin. Once he catches him in the chin, he's going to knock him out. And I said, that's because y'all think moving pieces on a chessboard is skills. That's why. Because you're looking at the combinations Khan throws. You're looking at Khan's jab and his footwork and how good he looks, right? But I said he's a pattern fighter. Crawford's not a pattern fighter. Crawford's a thinking fighter. Crawford's going to figure out the pattern. Then he's going to basically pick Khan apart. And that's exactly what happened. And I took it a step further. I said, even if Khan had an iron chin, it wouldn't matter. That just means Crawford beat the fuck out of him for 12 rounds. And if you saw the fight, you know I was right. I feel very similar about this one, although I don't think Plant is as much of a pattern fighter like an Amir Khan, in fairness. The reason I think Plant will be competitive for the first 3-4 rounds is not because he's got the will to win, or because he's coming to win, or because he's bringing bravado, or because he has a nice story, okay? I mean, talking about things that can't help you in a fight. Like, oh, resume can't help you, but people are talking about Plant's life story. Like, that's going to help him in the ring, okay? No, the reason it's going to be competitive early is because Plant is not a pattern fighter. Plant is a thinking fighter in there, in fairness. He's just very basic. But he does, when he throws a jab, his next movement is dictated by what you do, right? If he throws combinations on the fly, he doesn't have them pre-calculated. That is what's going to make it a little difficult for Canelo early. There's no pattern to it. It takes a little longer to figure it out, right? If there is a pattern, it's not as obvious of a pattern. At least I haven't caught it, to be honest. So it's going to take Canelo a while, right? And by a while, I mean 3-4 rounds. And maybe starting in the 5th, he will take over. And he will take over because there's levels to this. That's why. But you know what I'm seeing right now on YouTube? And I'm watching the buzzards hover around. They're hovering around just hoping the pay-per-view fails so they could rub it in and say Canelo's not a big name, right? Hoping and praying that it sells less than a Tank Davis fight, because, for their own little vendettas and shit like that. Praying and hoping Canelo loses because they want to rub it in, because they just don't like Canelo. And, you know what I mean? Praying and hoping that the Mexicans get it. And, you know what I mean? And these Mexicans are they're a little too excited about this. Oh, Canelo Alvarez guy. We need to bring him down a little bit. He's not even from the USA, and they live here. Why are they going for the Mexican, right? Like, so I get it, just hovering around in the sky, just hoping that the dead carcass, right, is in the ground. So they can just do what buzzards do for that. So they can do what buzzards do. Hey, buzzards be doing what buzzards be doing, ladies and gentlemen. It's what they will be doing. I don't concentrate on things I can't control. I don't know how many buys this fight's going to do. It's hard to gauge because Canelo hasn't been on pay-per-view since the second Gennady Golovkin fight. So it's hard to really gauge how many pay-per-views it's going to do. We're going to find out all those fights on Fox that Caleb Plant was in. We're going to find out how many people are going to remember that. We're going to find out if it's even worth showcasing a guy like that on Fox, right? We're going to find out if Nashville will stand up and give us a good amount of pay-per-views from there to support Plant. I'm thinking the fight will do over 700,000, has a shot to do 1 million, but I don't know. It's hard to gauge. I think a lot of Hispanics are going to be buying this fight. But I know people that are telling me, like, yo, I thought Canelo's fighting on the zone now. What's going on? Like, so there's a little bit of a last minute, figuring out that this fight is on pay-per-view. Showtime just isn't the best place, to do these fights, on pay-per-view. I think it would have been better on Fox, to be honest with you. So how it sells, I'm not sure. It's hard to believe that Canelo Chavez Jr. was a bigger fight than this, and that one did 1 million, right? So, look, the last 3 times Canelo was on pay-per-view, he did over 1 million. Okay? Gennady Golovkin was doing like 160,000 on his own. So he helped a little bit, but it's safe to say most of that came from Canelo. It's hard to gauge. But we'll see. Like, you know what I mean? We will see. I think 700,000 is a good number. That's my opinion. Right? Because I just don't think Caleb Plant's that big of a name. Like, it's hard for an A-side fighter to do over 1 million just by himself. Floyd Mayweather wasn't really doing over 1 million by himself. He did over 2 million with Canelo, with Pacquiao and Conor McGregor and De La Hoya. He did over 1 million a couple times with other fighters, but he also did under 1 million. He did 400,000 against Berto. He did like 800, 900,000 with Haddon and Maidana. So it's I don't know, right? We will find out. But here's what I do know. A lot of people I've talked to are less convinced about Plant than even we are. So at least we know he's a titleist. At least we know he's an IBF champion. At least we know he beat Uzcategui. We know that. And I'm not even that mad at people just picking Plant to win because in a way they're promoting the fight a little bit. Maybe some people are looking it up on YouTube and does Plant have a chance to win? And if they see some dude saying, hey, yeah, he could win, maybe that's going to help sell some pay-per-views. I don't know. Right? How many? I'm not sure. I think people overstate their importance here on YouTube. We're talking about millions of buys and dudes doing 4,000 views, which is great. Think they have a big influence on how the fight's going to sell. You know what I mean? But hey, anything helps. Okay. I think the fight will be a success. I think they'll at least break even, and that's that. So we will see how this fight's going to go. Will this fight do 1 million? Can it do 1 million? Is that possible? Well, let's first look at some fights. So, is it going to do over 250,000? Absolutely. It will. What about 500,000? I think 500,000 is the low end. What I believe it could do, right? Where you could call it maybe a failure, but it's not a catastrophe. Anything under 500,000 is a catastrophe. There's no other way around it. I believe it has to do at least 750,000 or something like that for it to at least to say, you know what, it did okay, given the circumstance. Look, we're going to find out if being on the zone helped Canelo or hurt Canelo. We're going to find out. We're going to find out if being on the app hurt him or what, because he was doing over 1 million for his last 3 fights. And again, I'm having a hard time believing that the Chavez Jr. fight was bigger than this one, but the Chavez Jr. fight did over 1 million. Canelo Cotto did 900,000. So we are looking at a situation where I'm wondering where it's a little hard to gauge in a way how good it's going to do. I hope it does 1 million. I hope. I just don't think it will. We will see. All right. Now, I want to talk about what if Plant wins. I've been hearing this a lot. D-Style, what are you going to do if Plant wins? Right? Here's what I'm going to do if Plant wins. I'm going to congratulate Plant on his win. All right, that's number one. I'm going to say, you know what? I was wrong. Plant did prove he belonged at this level. And he rose to the occasion. And he fought a nice, well-earned fight. I'm going to give Caleb Plant his credit. It's what I'm going to do. Because that's what I always do when a fighter wins. I'll give you my scorecard. If I happen to disagree, I'll be transparent. But at the end of the day, if it's close enough, and even if I personally feel Canelo won, but they give it a Plant, you're not going to hear any bitching, crying, and moaning from me. All right? That's what I'm going to do if Caleb Plant wins. I'm going to congratulate him on his great win over Saul Canelo Alvarez. That's what I'm going to do. Well, what are you going to do? And then I'm just going to go enjoy the rest of the night, go to sleep, wake up, have breakfast, watch the Bills play tomorrow. Like, I mean, and my life continues on. What I'm not going to do is say that Reynoso drugged Canelo, that Plant, all of it, he had this power out of nowhere, and and say things like he put egg weights in his glove, and then start making all these weird conspiracy theories, and and say that they set him up and all this other dumb shit. I'm not going to do a count gate, okay? I'm not going to do all this dumb shit. That's what I'm not going to do. To the winner goes the spoils. If Caleb Plant wins, then good for him. Right? This is why we fight the fights. We could sit here all day and talk all day about who's going to win, who's going to do what, and it all comes down to what they do in the ring anyway. Anything could happen in any fight. All right? It may not be likely, but anything could happen. So, but until that happens, I'm telling you right now, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think Caleb Plant's about to get outclassed. I've been saying Canelo by 8-round stoppage. Now, I've been thinking a little bit about how Plant could survive the second half of the fight. I just don't know if I want to pull the trigger on that, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on that. Like, I'm going to stick to 8-round stoppage Canelo. Right? But I have been thinking about it going the distance. And I have been thinking about that, Because fighters do go on survival mode. And fighters do have quick feet. They can start getting on the run. And you know what I mean? Make no mistake about it. Now, I've been hearing a lot of, dudes out here wanting to hedge their bets and saying things like, Canelo's going to win, but because we know why. We know what time it is. Canelo's got the complexion for the protection. That's why he's going to win. Now, that's a weird one, given the fact that he's about to fight Caleb fucking Plant. Okay? Okay, like that's weird. All right? I mean, I don't even know what to say to that, but it is what it is, right? Like, who did he have the complexion for the protection for? Like Billy Joe? Have you guys not seen Billy Joe? Have you not seen Callum Smith? Like, what the hell's going on over here, right? Have you not seen Gennady Golovkin? Like, well, what's going on, right? I've seen people say he's got the judges in his back pocket, right? Now, I've done some research, and wide scorecards happen way more often than people make it. People make it seem like only Canelo has had wide scorecards in his fights. Like only Canelo, right? Just him. Let's use Austin Trout, for example. Oh, the scorecards were wide, right? Now, I believe they were wide. I had Trout, I'm sorry, Canelo winning 7 rounds to 5 with the knockdown as well. But I agree. But here's the deal. Like when Trout fought the Charlo brothers, I mean, they also had a judge score it super wide. What does that even mean? Are you saying that the judges are paying off the Charlos are paying off the judges too? I felt Castano clearly beat Jamal. Yet they didn't give Castano the win. I felt like, you know how many PBC cards I've seen where a dude gets blatantly, like in my opinion, he gets shafted over and over again. Canelo nowhere near to be found, but everybody wants to keep talking about the judges of Canelo, just over embellishing the shit. It's getting ridiculous at this point. He's going to PBC and people are still saying that. One of the judges had Michaela's fight a shutout. There you go. And that was a close fight in my opinion. So what are people like? I'm trying to understand. Wide scorecards happen all the time. In fact, this Tater had a wide scorecard against Regis Prograis in the UK. Canelo nowhere to be found. But hey, just blame Canelo. Only Canelo. There was a judge that had Wilder beating Fury in the first fight. That is ridiculous. Canelo nowhere to be found. Some people feel Kovalev got the best of Andre Ward in the first fight. Canelo nowhere to be found. Some people feel Pacquiao won that first Bradley fight. Canelo nowhere to be found. Some people feel Castillo beat Mayweather. Canelo nowhere to be found. A judge or two having it way off is not as rare as you people think. It's not unique to Canelo. It's not. Puerto Rican fighter Elon de Jesus got robbed at the PBC. He did. Canelo nowhere to be found. Every week we have a judge that is way off on the scorecard. And people want to keep saying, oh, we got to fix this. We got to fix this. I agree. But this is not unique to Canelo. Plus, in my opinion, some people are exaggerating it. Oh, there was a judge that had a wife. I thought Canelo clearly beat Cotto. Clearly. In my opinion, he beat Gennady Golovkin in the second fight. That's my opinion. But there were close fights. It could have gone either way. I felt he clearly won the Jacobs fight. Just because they're competitive, like the Jacobs fight was competitive, but it wasn't close. It's just the way it is. That's just the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. Point blank, period. I want you to keep this in mind. If Saul Canelo Alvarez, okay, beats Caleb Plant, he will be the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. And we have individuals out here that already are pre-planning to give him no credit for that. Even though they've been hyping Plant up for years, but like since Canelo's going to beat him now, and then all of a sudden they ain't even talking about the fight like that. They were talking more when the fight didn't happen, just to say that Canelo's ducking, right? When they felt safe, when it felt like the fight was not going to happen, and they could use the narrative that he's ducking him, they talked more about it then than they're talking about it this week. And then the false narrative that Canelo fans are talking about Canelo like if Canelo is invincible and can't lose. Never once have I said Canelo's invincible. Never once have I said Canelo cannot lose. Never. I never said that. I come from the school of thought that anything could happen in boxing and nothing is 100%. Nothing is guaranteed in this life but death. And even that, you don't know when it's coming. All right? So I'm going to run from the reaper. You know, that's the only thing guaranteed in life, death. All we can do is give educated opinions about how we think shit's going to go down. And I just haven't seen enough from Caleb Plant to show me anything. On this side, we acknowledge that anything could happen. On this side, we acknowledge that nobody is unbeatable. On this side, we don't have a fascination with the O. On this side, we don't fear losing the O. On this side, we want fighters to challenge themselves. On this side, we want those butterflies in our stomach before the fight. We want the threat. I want Plant to bring it. I want Plant to give a good fight. I want Plant to give Canelo the fight of his life because I'm a boxing fan. I just don't think it's going to happen. That's all. And I have a little secret for you. I don't think you do either. For those out here talking about Plant parting the Red Sea tonight, break down film and making it seem like this is on paper a close fight when you know it's not. You know it's not. I hope Plant's not capping. I hope Plant is serious when he says, I'm not here to just lay down. I hope he's right. I hope he's serious. I want to see resistance. Because great fighters overcome resistance. I want to see a challenge. And Caleb Plant, even if Plant loses, even if he gets knocked out, but he was giving Canelo a hell of a fight, I'll still salute him. Is he going to show us something we've never seen? Is he going to do it? I don't know. I'll tell you what I'm getting ready for. I'm getting ready for a party tonight. That's what I'm getting ready for. You know, prize fighting has a place in the annals of time. Armies used to be formed in the ancient times, and they would meet in a field. And many times kings would negotiate and talk in the middle of that field. And they would say, let's spare blood. How about your best man against my best man? And the winner, whoever wins that battle, wins. That's what we see here. I remember Larry Merchant once said, and this was before Cotto versus Margarito, I believe. You know, it's like the legions follow their fighter to the battle. We're about to see this battle, and legions will watch. And I got to tell you right now, if I was in an army and Canelo was our best fighter, and if you were in an army and Plant was your best fighter, I think I like my chances of winning that war. That's what I think. Now, you could say, you could have belief, right? But if I had proof that no, this warrior has defeated many great ones, and yours hadn't beaten anybody yet, I think I'm in the right to be more confident. And we know this because many of you don't have the balls to just say you think Plant's going to win. You're picking Canelo and you're hedging your fucking bets. Is what you're doing. And that's some weak ass sauce shit. That's what that is. And I don't like weak sauce shit. Weak sauce shit happens to annoy me, quite frankly. Yeah, for Rick and G, brother, somebody got to have a rude awakening. In my opinion, 8-4 Canelo. I don't think it's going to be easy. There you go. Hey, thanks so much for that support, brother. And you know, it's funny because when I look around the YTBC, you know, there is like a tribalistic nature that I see on a lot of these channels. And it's funny because that's how we're acting. We're acting like tribes and your best man versus my best man. And then the winner wins the battle and all this stuff, right? Well, we will see, I guess. I think I'll take my chances with Canelo. What's going on to Shadow Ghost, Puro Sur, 92, The Goats, Isaac, 92 AKU, the Chicano Prophet, The Goat, Magzilla, Johnny Blaze, all you guys, man. Isaac, Mike from Boston, all you guys, man. Shout out to you guys. Puerto Rican Rum. Fistiana fights Canelo in 6, she says. I don't know about you guys. I've been kind of saying this, that here are my 3 more likely scenarios. Canelo in 8. Number 1. Number 2, Canelo by decision. And number 3, believe it or not, it's Canelo by first round knockout. What? Yes. If this moment is too big for Caleb, he's going to get sparked in the first round. I'm tired right now. And if I'm Canelo, I press him in the first. I blitz him in the first, and I see what he's got. If the moment's not too big for him, just lay off the gas pedal and remain patient. But that's what I would do, to be honest with you. That's what I've been thinking, to be honest. Like, how's Caleb going to act in that first moment when he gets clipped? What's going to happen? We will see. That long torso is going to take body shots. Ooh, man, I'll tell you right now, man. He's a much larger target than Floyd. He's not as skilled as Floyd, and Canelo's a better fighter than he was all those years ago. I mean, put the math together. We are going to see something great, guys. I was born in the USA. I was born in the USA. We got dudes out here like, oh, I'm about the red, white, and blue, you know, the stars and stripes. And like, all of a sudden, right? Okay, cool. I was born in the USA. I was born, like, you know, that's what it's all about, right? Like, now, granted, that's not my main prediction, guys. I'm not saying he's gonna knock him out in the first. I really don't need. I never pick a first round knockout, right? Even though they do happen, but we'll see. Because I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free. I will pick for the American, 'cause that's the right thing to do. You better stand up. What's going on over here with people like this? All this patriotic attitude, right? I haven't seen so many patriotic Americans in 9/11 and shit. All right? People getting all patriotic and shit all of a sudden. Like, get the fuck out of here, okay? What do you want from me? I already paid taxes. Well, what else you want from me? All I ask is, can all you Canelo, can you guys just I don't know, man. Let's just not be so mad. Can you not be so angry and shit? Canelo's on top. You know what I mean? Like, what's with all the anger is what I want to know. You know? Jesus Christ. So much anger. Should we sing the Hulk Hogan song? In my opinion, I think Plant should come out to the song Real American, okay? When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. You gotta take a stand, it don't help to hide. If you hurt my ribs with they left hooks, then you hurt my pride. I gotta be a man, I can't let it slide. I am a real American. Always pick for the American every time. I am a real American. I fight for what's right. Pick no matter what. I feel strong about right and wrong. And I don't take trouble for very long. I got something deep inside of me. Courage is a thing that keeps us free. Shit's great. Shit's great. Oh, man. But anyway, at the end of the day, all right, at the end of the day, well, Pan doesn't like country music. So, I don't know. I'm going to take it to the ribs. I'm going to get knocked out. By the 8th round, I'll be knocked the fuck out. I hope you pick me because you're American. Please chant USA, USA when I'm out. Oh, man. What's all the real Americans out here, bro? What's going on over here? It's like a parody, bro. It's like a 1980s wrestling parody of the 1980s wrestling fan. Okay? That's all it is. If you hurt my ribs and you hurt my pride, I gotta be a man. I can't let it slide. I'm gonna get knocked out in the 8th round. I'm gonna go down in a blaze of glory. Red, white, and blue. Oh yeah, oh yeah. The only thing that makes me white is the skin outside. Got the sauce. Got the sauce. I'm a killer plant and I got the sauce. The only thing white about me is my skin color. I'm gonna fight for my life. Fight to survive. Anyway. Oh, man. Whew. What's going on over here, bro? If Caleb Plant comes out to Live It in America, he's getting knocked out, bro. You can't come out to that song, you're an American fighter, bro. Oh, man. Let's see. James Brown. Oh, yeah. They're living in America, right? Let's see. I don't know. I can't. Living in America by James Brown. No, I can't do James Brown, but super highways, coast to coast, easy talking, anywhere. You know, something like that. But I like this part. Living in America, eye to eye, station to station. You know what I mean? Living in America, Canelo's gonna whoop my ass. Like, that's all. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Plant, yerba, fucking. It's like a fucking weed eater, bro. It's gonna fucking like cut this dude in half, bro. Like that's all that's gonna happen. Caleb Plant is some gypsy magic, absolutely. Somebody said earlier, I don't think judges are gonna matter. I don't either. Even if it goes the distance, I just don't picture this close fight. Like I just don't. I'm sorry. It'll be close for the first 4 or 5 rounds, but that's it. What's going on to the boxing historian? Look, if he wins, he will shock the world. And I'll give him credit for it, man. Maxilla, if he beats him in a boring fight, an exciting fight, I'll give him credit. I hear it, Tony Donis. I hear you, brother. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? What are you going to do? I believe that's how Canelo Alvarez is going to win this fight. I almost did my post fight, and I still might. I'm not sure. I might do my post fight before the fight. Just get out of the way. You know what I mean? But I think I'll wait. I think I'll wait. I think I'll wait. Caleb Plant, the real American. You know what I mean? You know what? Caleb Plant's a real American. You know what I mean? Like he's so American, he's more American than you. That's how American he is. You know what I mean? That's what we got now. We got dudes on YouTube like, I'm American. I'm more American than Americans. I'm so American. I'm super American. We got super Americans nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. You know? Did y'all put the American flag outside the front porch this morning too, or what? That you like salute it and then like put your hand in your heart and say the Pledge of Allegiance? Or what the fuck is going on over here? Like, what? Caleb Plant fans would be like getting that American flag and shit, put it in the front porch. They got the little spot where you put the pole in. They sell that shit just for their flag. They make sure the flag doesn't touch the floor, and then they put it up there, and they just admire the flag. Like, oh, look at that, good old glory. And then they just kind of like stare at it. Then they put their hand in their heart, guys. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Then they come on YouTube and they're like, "Ah, yes, America, I love you." And then they're just they hear these styles say, "I think Canelo's gonna beat Plant." What do you mean he's gonna beat him? Can't say that. It's ungrateful. It's ungrateful Mexican lives here. And he doesn't want to go for the American. He's speaking the Mexican matter from Mexico. He doesn't appreciate the country living. These styles should go back to Mexico. Come over there. Go live in Tijuana if you don't want to go for Caleb Plant, man. The fuck out of here, man. That's what it is. Like, just chill the fuck out. It's just boxing. All right? We the people. This is why we got the Minutemen out there, the Border Patrol, because you let them in and then they don't even go for the American when it's a boxing fight. Yeah. The fuck's going on over here? Like, I don't give a fuck if somebody goes for a boxing fight. Like, what? I don't keep tabs and shit. Like, well, wait a minute. Are you from here? Get the fuck out of here. Wait a minute. You were born here? You got a social security and everything? You're not going for Plant? Oh, man. We got dudes out here that want to deport me and shit because I'm going for Canelo, bro. What the fuck's going on over here? We need to deport him. Oh, man. Yo. Like they're mad at Canelo because he's making money here too. Like, this shit's hilarious, bro. This is crazy to me. What the fuck's the matter with people? Why is it that when Virgil Ortiz fights, I don't ever hear like, "Oh, I go for the American"? Like, why don't I ever hear that? And it doesn't even matter to me. I don't give a fuck. But like, Jesus Christ. Plant's gonna come out to some Beastie Boys, bro. That's what he's gonna come out to. Yo, is Plant gonna come out with a rapper? Is he really gonna do that? The only thing what about me is my skin color. Boom, boom, boom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that what it's gonna be or what? Caleb Plant lives in a delusional world. I read an article about Plant earlier today, and I'm not going to talk about it here because it's like, I don't think it's appropriate, but it just showed me that he definitely could be delusional. And if I keep it in the boxing sphere, the guy is delusional. I mean, he just is, in my opinion. Now, look, it could be, he's psyching himself out so he could give himself confidence to win. We'll see. All right? Canelo's going to knock you out, bro. That's what I think. I think Caleb Plant's going to get stopped in 8. Intensity, integrity, intelligence. So it is what it is, guys. All right. If you really are that confident that Plant's going to win, and I'm being sincere right now, Get with your bookie. Find yourself an online casino, whatever it is, and place a bet on Plant. You got 6-1 odds. If you really feel he's going to stop Canelo, place a bet. You could win 2,000 for every 100 you bet. Why wouldn't you do it? All right. Yeah, Mac from Boston saying he's going to quit. Look, in that ring, the truth will find you. So we will see. Thank you, guys, for tuning in. I don't know. I don't think I'll be on tonight after the fight, to be honest with you. But I'll be on tomorrow, right? Tomorrow morning. So stay tuned. I do got to get going. And we'll see how it goes, man. I hope it's a good fight. I hope that Plant really is serious and he brings it, and we got to solve a great fight. I really hope that's the case. I hope it's an electric fight, and I got Canelo winning. That's all I got to say. There we go. Peace out.